Luca Carver, and I'm a library associate at the Snellville branch. And welcome to eBooks for All, a guide to discovering GCPL's secret library. A library whose secrets I will be sharing with you today. Let's take a look. Now, if you're a regular user of GCPL, you're probably familiar with going into our catalog, searching for a book, and seeing ebooks appear in our catalog like this. The ebooks that appear in our catalog like this are available through a distribution service called Overdrive. You're probably familiar with Overdrive, or maybe more commonly, its mobile app, which we call Libby. However, you might not be aware that GCPL has access to additional ebooks which don't appear in the catalog. That's right, there's an entire secret library of ebooks just waiting to be read and combed through. Follow me if you dare, and let's explore GCPL's secret library of eBooks for All. First, we'll be taking a look at some of the options for ebooks for younger readers. Both Tumble Books and eRead Kids offer items for kids that might want access from home or may not be available as a physical item in your local branch. Let's start by taking a look at Tumble Books. To get to all of the items we will be looking over today, we will be wanting to find the digital resources page on our website. To find that, we will want to go to the Learn and Explore tab on the main page here at the top. Just hover over and our three options will pop up. You can click on any of these texts that say digital resources, as they will all lead to the same page, which looks like this. This page contains all of our various digital resources that your library allows you to access. Today we'll be focusing on just ebooks, but this is definitely a page worth acquainting yourself with, especially if you want to get the most out of your library card. I'm just going to go ahead and select the e-audio and ebooks option at the top, and that will narrow our results down for the resources we're going to be looking at. At the bottom, we will find Tumble Book Library. Tumble Books is generally the best option for younger readers, as it features lots of interactive experiences. There's a section specifically for digital read-alongs that feature narration and animations. These are great for kids who are trying to find ways to maintain an interest in the books they're reading. There are also books which have been turned into small videos that also feature narration. Tumble Books also allows access to more traditional ebooks, which you can find under the eBooks tab, as well as some graphic novels which are in their own section. Tumble Books also has special sections for language learning books, nonfiction books, and games. Tumble Books can be a great resource for getting kids to interface with books and practice their reading in a bunch of different ways. eRead Kids is a service offered through our distributor, Baker & Taylor. These books currently don't appear in our catalog, but are available to check out through this portal, and you can even place holds on items which are currently being used by other patrons. Here, I'll go to our catalog and pull up a book. This one here is called Dear Librarian. Now, if a patron wanted to read this book today and we didn't have a book in our branch, we can search in the eRead Kids catalog and see if we have access to it. Here it is. As of right now, these books don't appear in our standard catalog, but even if they do, this offers a great user interface to browse specifically ebooks. This is definitely a resource to consider when trying to find kids' books that you can check out in the comfort of your own home. Overdrive is an interesting resource because while it does appear in our standard catalog, you can still use the Overdrive site separately. Whatever items you check out here will be available on the Libby app if you use that on your smartphone or your tablet. I like to use this option whenever I want to look at only ebooks. This can be a great way to browse niche collections, like the comics and manga, which may be of interest to our teens and young adults. We can go over here to the Subjects tab, and this will show us all of the items you have access to with Overdrive. Let's start with comics here. And you will see we have this really nice interface to browse different titles that are specifically available through Overdrive and Libby. Books that are available are labeled as such with the available tag, while ones that require a wait list are labeled respectively and give you the option to place a hold like you do with traditional print materials. For more information on Overdrive and Libby, you can visit our website. Here is a link. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about Galileo. Galileo is a virtual library maintained by the University System of Georgia, and it's an excellent way to get access to more academic-oriented texts. Our collection here caters more towards general public use, but Galileo allows us to have access to the kinds of texts we would find in university libraries. Within Galileo, there are many different individual databases that you can access. My goal here is to show you how to comb through these imposing digital shelves and make them seem a little more friendly. Now, when you click on Galileo via our digital resources page on the website, you will see these various options. I tend to opt for just using the Galileo main page, but if you're a student doing some research for a paper or are younger, these options can help remove some of the less pertinent databases. The Galileo password is for accessing Galileo when you're not in the library and you want to browse in the comfort of your own home. It changes periodically, so make sure to check this site to stay up to date. If you're using Galileo inside the library, then there's no need to use a password. Okay, so when we open up Galileo, we can type our search of what we're looking for into the search bar. We can also look at different databases, which are organized by subject and type. But let's just start with a basic general search across all of Galileo. Let's say I wanted to look more into Samuel R. Delany, a cult favorite sci-fi fantasy author. Now, if we look in our catalog, we will only find an anthology he appears in, as well as one of his more well-known books, Dahlgren. But if we wanted to know more about him or look into scholarly works about his writing, we can take a look at Galileo. I'll just type in his name as the search term, and immediately we will see a lot of different academic journal articles about his work or interviews with him. We also see a couple different books, like this book here of his journal entries, and also a couple books on his nonfiction writing about science fiction. This is how I mostly like to use Galileo, to look for supplemental materials that pair with whatever I've checked out from my branch. These are all sorts of things that can help enrich your reading experiences and fill in gaps in your knowledge. All of the ebooks you see here are usually traceable back to the ebook collection database from EBSCO. If we click right here, it will take us back to that database and we can browse it more generally. Let's just put in a more generic term like graphic design. See, here we are given a bunch of different textbooks, handbooks, and the like that you'd expect from most university libraries. These are all accessible from your own home, and for many of the books, you are able to download large portions of the book that you can browse on your own devices. If you're a student or are trying to learn a new skill or trade, this is a great place to look for materials to help you along in your journey. Another extremely handy use of the ebook collection here in Galileo is for books that have entered the public domain. A lot of these books are available elsewhere on the internet, but these tend to be scans of the original copies of the book rather than digitized texts you can use on an e-reader. Galileo actually has many of these public domain texts in the EPUB format, which allows you to read them on your e-reader of choice and adjust the text size, the font, the color, and all that good stuff that you aren't able to change with a simple PDF scan. Let's say last night I watched the movie version of The Prisoner of Zenda and wanted to try and read the original book myself. A 100-year-old adventure novel from the 1890s isn't something I would expect my public library to have. So if I turn to our good friend Galileo and type in The Prisoner of Zenda, we will actually find a few different digital copies of the book. And we see that these both have options for the EPUB file format. If I log into my EBSCO account, I can download these files and take a look and see how the original book compares to the film. Please note that EPUB files aren't supported natively by Kindles, but they can be easily converted into the MOBI file format, which Kindles can support. I will link an article in the description on how you can do this. Okay, one last thing that Galileo has, which I adore. One of the things I miss most from my old university library is having access to books published through our various university presses. When I first started at GCPL, I started digging through these digital resources and found we actually have a lot of these texts available via Galileo. These are available through a database called ProQuest eBook Central, and this resource specifically has lots of academic texts, as well as a variety of other sorts of digital texts. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Galileo main page, and under the databases by type, click on Books, eBooks, and Book Reviews. And from here, we can go down to eBook Central. As it says down here, this resource works especially well on mobile, so you can feel free to bookmark this page for easy access. I'm going to click on the advanced search option and select publisher as my search parameter. Let me type in University Press and see what results I get. Wow, that's a lot of results, and that's a lot of stuff. In particular, there's a series which I really like called Conversations, which collects interviews with various creatives, authors, cartoonists, and filmmakers. Let's do a little digging. I will type in University Press into the publisher search parameter and type Conversations into the keyword. There we go. We have a bunch of titles in this series that we have access to, and we can read them either on ProQuest in our browser, or if we make an account, we can actually check out these books and read them on our personal devices. All right, thank you so much. This is officially the end of this little workshop, and I really hope that this was helpful. Your library card can offer you so much more than what you see on the shelves at your local branch. The digital resources page on our website is so full of different treasure troves, chock full of information. It just requires a little bit of curiosity and patience, and you can always stop by your local branch if you need a hand to help you along the way. Thank you so much for watching. And let's explore GCPL's secret library